Welcome back to Tech Talks from Commercial Baking. I'm your host, Joni Spencer. In this episode, sponsored by Coperion Food, Health, and Nutrition, I am speaking with Kevin Guy, Director of Aftermarket Solutions and Business Development, and we are discussing what bakers should consider beyond the initial capital investment for equipment. Hi, Kevin. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Joni. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is life expectancy for equipment. When a customer installs an automated ingredient handling system, a mixer, or dough portioning and handling equipment, what's the life expectancy of a piece of equipment? And I want to talk like a little bit beyond the equipment design. What overall factors come into play for life expectancy?
Yeah, typically we see that customers can expect mixers, conveyors, ovens to last around 30 years or so. That's with preventative attention and maintenance being done. We have examples and customers that reach out to us on their equipment that go back 40, even 50 years. But that 30 years is a good rough number to base around. And I use preventative attention. Really, that means to me having routine and scheduled checks for the equipment and the systems that are installed. At the equipment level, you're checking, routine things like the oil level in your unit, or maybe gauges and sensors that they're working and inspect. But at the system level, and at the process level, is everything integrated and working as expected to meet your plant targets? Are you meeting your QC and your output requirements? And are you really seeing that minimal downtime with your equipment?
Right. So we're talking about life expectancy and that requires some support as well. So I want to ask a little vocabulary primer from you and your
Yeah.
aftermarket expertise. Can you talk to me about lifetime support and how that is either
Yeah.
similar to or different from a service contract? What do those specific terms mean in general, and what do they mean for Coperion?
Yeah. I mean, I think lifetime support, it's a strategy. It's not a 1-800 number or a specific service contract where I say, we will do this over a 1 year or a 2 year or a 3 year period. It's a strategy that begins with the planning of your new equipment or your process line. It's making sure you select a partner that can provide guidance on integrating your new equipment and investment with your existing plant. When you purchase, you want to consider how well your partner can integrate the controls and systems, as well as, have they made the investments and have what I call the foundational structure internally, that they make and provide well-engineered, well-manufactured equipment, controls, and components. I think another big part is considering the partner's service team footprint, both regionally and globally. What does that availability look like? From a customer's perspective, they want to make sure that they have access to service technicians where their plant is at. Regionally, they want to make sure there's minimizing that travel distance so that it's short as possible. Because ultimately, if they have a need, they want that quick response time from the supplier. They want to know that technician can be there fairly quickly to help them get back up and running. And I think there's a couple other points as well. I think you want to consider a partner's use of technology internally. The equipment is going to age. As it ages 10, 15 years down the line, if you would lose any of those records or something changes, you want to know that your partner has that original design information, service reports and records from visits that they've made to your facility over the years, as well as what's been the parts and activity and replacement history that they've provided to you on those machines. All of that helps build a picture down, further down the line of, what's been done and how well the equipment's been maintained and kept up.
Yeah, and doesn't that also sort of give you all an opportunity to flag potential problems before it gets to a point where the equipment needs repair?
Yeah, it absolutely does. It is, something where you can see trends. You can look at it and say, um, are we seeing, premature failures in certain areas, based on, maybe it's sensors, or maybe it's bearings or motors or things that are failing way quicker than you would expect it to. I think one last other key point within lifetime support is, making sure, you have a partner where they have a really solid test center. That test center where you can come in and do, you know, preliminary testing, R&D testing, new recipe testing is a vital tool that, you can use with your partner to make sure that you're specifying the right equipment, maybe some of the right changes that need to get made, as well as just making sure that, there's a good rapport of what is being provided within the equipment.
Yeah, for sure. And that makes me think, if we just look back, I mean, gosh, even in the past like year to 18 months, but really in the past 5 years, how many things have changed so rapidly, even, between regulatory issues and consumer demand issues. A piece of equipment is going to last for 30 years. It's probably a safe bet that the product lineup is not going to be the same over the course of 30 years. So I think testing really comes into play as bakers have to tap into their R&D and make those adjustments to meet those market demands, whatever they may be, to have a partner that they can come in and sort of make sure that they're running the equipment the right way for any tweaks to the product seems like it's a really important benefit.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's something we encourage those bakers and those engineers to be coming in and working with us, come on site as part of those trials and tests, and doing that collaboratively together.
Hmm. There's there's something else regarding change that I want to talk to, and that's sort of the change that's happening in how bakers are investing for capital expenditures. Many bakeries I'm hearing are focusing more of their investments on upgrades or equipment modernization. So, are you seeing that with your customers? And then, how can you create more efficiencies when they're focusing more on modernization and improvements than they are in a brand new piece of equipment?
Yeah, I think this is a really big benefit to that lifetime support. It is, it's almost an intelligent modernization of their equipment. And it's an area we've promoted for a while. We've worked collaboratively over the years with our customers to identify key products, systems, and even, parts and packages within that product line that can be upgraded as a benefit to the customer. And that can be, a complete, modernization of an older piece of equipment just to extend the life, through wear and tear. But really, yeah, I think where the big benefit is to customers is that these modernizations are often upgrades to products that improve efficiency, reduce maintenance, or, allow for safer operation, keep current with, the standards we were just talking about with the test lab. If there are new sanitary requirements that have come into effect, those modernization packages, they may be on a new piece of equipment as we've evolved, but it's making sure that we can adapt that to an older 30-year-old, 20-year-old piece of equipment, and provide that to a customer as an option to come up to the standards that they need to be at, without having to make a complete capital investment. And we've seen some success in a couple key areas, in our mixer lines, where we have a sanitary seal conversion kit that we have been supplying customers here over the years. Other areas where the technology was complex mechanical drive packages, that now can be done very efficiently and easily with servo motors. And then always upgrading legacy control packages and systems to current PLC technology. So those are some of the bigger ones that we see day in and day out.
Okay. Yeah. So that leaves me with one last question for you, Kevin. And that is, what is the best way for a baker to get in touch with Coperion Food Health and Nutrition to talk about all of these things and how they can either invest in a piece of equipment that has this incredible aftermarket benefit, or get in touch with you to learn how they can make some really good improvements on their existing equipment?
The best way is definitely through our website, coperion.com/FHN. Go into our services page. We'll give further details out about a lot of these different options and give you a way to contact us directly and get to the right person that's responsible for either your product line or that specific set of equipment within the group.
Hey, great. Well, Kevin, that's everything that I have for you. Thanks so much for taking time to talk to me about some of the benefits to Coperion's equipment beyond just that initial capital investment.
Tony, thank you. Pleasure to be here.